Oh, there you are. Welcome to the chat. Now, see, I need Deadwood's hat to make that work. I need I need his hat. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I am Mad Capper and this is another video on Raid Shadow Legends. As you can see right here, Beardall Fellhammer is the next champion. It's a little bit of a sneak preview. He is the next champion I'm working on for I built them, so you don't have to. If you're sitting on a Beardall and you're wondering, do I build him? Is he going to be good for Faction Wars, Arena, Dungeons, anywhere else? Give me a couple days. I should be able to get him out sometime during the week, next week, depending on my rather strapped resources. But we're going to do as best we can to get that video out for you. However, today I want to talk about something a little bit different. Since I've been streaming on Twitch, and especially this last week where I've been streaming every day while on vacation and working around the house, every morning I've been streaming, and every morning someone else asks me the exact same question. How do I win in the arena? The early game player is probably the most confusing piece. It is the one area, outside from maybe Clan Boss, where people don't know a lot of the basics that you need to be able to be successful in the arena. What kind of comps can you use? How do you make sure that that other guy keeps getting in there? You keep boosting, but they're going third or fourth and you aren't sure why. Well, let's talk about why that is, and we'll talk about some of the tips and tricks you can do to make sure that doesn't happen. What we're going to do is we're going to go to, there was a reason why I had the intro, deadwoodjedi.com. First off, let's just talk about deadwoodjedi.com. This is an amazing hub of resource put together, of course, by Deadwood Jedi. It has the clan boss speed calculator. It has the arena calculator, which we're going to talk about today, and plenty of other guides and resources available to you so that you can make the most out of your raid experience. Please make sure you go see deadwoodjedi.com. I will have a link in the description down below. Also, make sure to go visit him on YouTube and keep an eye out for him on Twitch. He is both a streamer and a content creator. He's an amazing guy. He's a good guy. And he's a very intelligent guy when it comes to raid. So what we're going to do is we're going to head over there right now and we're going to talk about the arena calculator here. As you can see, I have it already, but we're going to scrub this. We don't want you to see this. We're going to start scratch. So most of the early game players, when they're in bronze 1 and they're at the most early, aren't really worried about arena, but there's a point where it becomes important. Especially if you want Arbiter and you want to complete those missions, it becomes critical. So how are you going to make the most out of your champions? What you can't do is change your champions. You can pull more, you can spend, but at the end of the day, you have to make use of what you have in the moment, and that's whether you are a free-to-play player or whether you're spending $30,000 a week in the game. It's irrelevant. The champions you have and the gear you have will make up what your options are. The best option, of course, is the speed comp, and a speed comp is very simple. It's you trying to go as fast as possible and let all your champions go before the other. Well, how do you do that? Well, one of the first and most important things you have to do is make sure you have a speed or a champion in your leadership position. You'd be surprised how many times, especially on my free-to-play accounts where I'm fighting guys in the bronze tier, silver, and gold, early gold tiers, where they have a gore grab, but then they have their Kale as their lead. Great that you get in that 15% HP, but I promise you my Skull Crown burns through any extra HP you have on those champions, and it's going to leave you wanting. Keep in mind that some people are using a slow comp, and that might be a trick to get you to attack them, but for the most part, what you're going to want is an aura that is your strongest aura of champions you have, and you're going to want that aura to be the lead. As you can see here on the calculator, it just so happens that they have a list of all the auras in the game, right down from Hospitalier, which I don't know. I think she's in all areas. She might not be actually. Spirit Host is the most common one because she's farmable. But as you can see, there are plenty of others. Some of those are affinity specific, so keep in mind and watch for that. Doom Priest is a good example who is only Force affinity. But if you're using 4 Force champions, you can kind of goad someone into fighting you because most people don't realize about her aura. In this particular case, we're going to talk about one of the most popular mid-game champions, and that is Gorgrab. When you get to the arena and you're starting to actually try to push, but a lot of you have pulled Gorgrab. Another option is Skull Crown, but we're going to talk about Gorgrab because this is what I used on my free-to-play account for the longest time until I finally finished the Arbiter missions. Gorgrab has a 23% speed aura. Now here is the second biggest mistake that I see a lot of new players use. They assume because Gorgrab's their leader that he is also their fastest. However, the smartest way to win in early arena is to double boost. If you're going to go first, why not go second as well? want to have that second just push you to ensure that you're going as fast as possible and that your final two champions have the lowest speed requirement as possible. And we'll use this calculator to show you. But my point is this. Let's pretend your fastest champion is Gorgrab. So we're going to put him in this, which says right here, fastest champion. We're going to put him in all speed sets. We're going to have Laura Steele on him. And let's just say we've gotten his speed up to 300 because we are boss. We've got some really good dungeon runs in there. We got some good speed sets. We did our glyphs. We did everything right. We listened to Chosen's dailies. We watched Murder Inc. do his spiel, and we learned we need speed. We put it on here. So we have a 322.47 calculated speed. Now that's Gorgrab's displayed speed, which is what his speed is with the artifacts, the masteries, and everything else, plus the aura. So why is this a mistake? Well, 99% of you, I'm going to venture to guess, have an apothecary. And you have gone and you've put apothecary right here. He's now your second fastest. Well, it makes sense, right? You have two boosters. That's great. So Gorgrab right here, you see he's going to use his his A3 as a res, his A2, which means your apothecary has to go at 262.37 to make sure that apothecary, no matter what, will go second. And that sounds great. But what if we did this? What if we made our fastest champion apothecary? Well, now all of a sudden our calculated speed is 324.26. His boost is an A3. Now suddenly this apothecary, or in this case it would be Gorgrab, has to go 250. Well, why is that? Let's just put that in there. It's going to be a little bit different, obviously, and we'll show that. 252.5. So why this difference? Why is apothecary 2 faster? Well, it's quite simple. Your aura is based off your base speed. The calculation is off your base speed. Gorgrab is a 97, whereas apothecary is 103, which means the 23% aura you're getting, it results in about 2 extra speed. Do you think 2 extra speed is important? It is critically important. The difference between winning and losing is going first in the arena 9 out of 10 times, especially earlier on. And if you can get 2 extra speed, you're darn right you should get that extra 2 speed. So if you have Gorgrab and apothecary, definitely Gorgrab's your leader, but your fastest speed set should be on apothecary. The other thing to note is, in order to get a displayed speed of 300, that means Gorgrab would actually need 203 worth of speed from artifacts. Now that doesn't take into account the masteries, but we'll assume all the masteries are the same. So that means it's 203 because his base speed is 97, which means if I go 203, my apothecary is going to be 306 with the same masteries because his base speed is quicker. So now I'm actually running at 330.26 with the exact same gear. So not only is the aura more important to give to apothecary, but on top of it, his base speed is going to allow him to be that much faster just with the gear that you have. Keep that in mind when you're building your team. Whoever has the fastest base speed of your turn meter boosting champions, that is who you should give your fastest gear to. So let's build this out. This is your mid game team. You've got apothecary, you've got Gorgrab. Gorgrab's going to use his A2 and going to boost. Then you're going to use I'm going to use Argala because that's who I actually use on my team. She's going to use her A3. I don't feel comfortable enough using her A2 because she definitely I don't one shot anybody, and we haven't done any damage prior to her, so we're using her as defense down and to put down a lot of damage. So she needs to be 224.11 in order to go, and then I use my skull crown, and I don't know why I want to like skull with a C is if you are a rower. But skull is someone wearing the head of another human being. So there's skull crown there. And of course, we'll be using her A2. Not that it matters. So she needs to be 226.63. What you may notice here is, hold on a second. 226.63, but that's faster than Zargala. That's not going to work. Well, it actually is going to work. What this is telling you is your slowest champion has to be 226.63. So 227 displayed. In order to get that means Argala, to make sure that she's actually debuffing before Skull Crown goes, she needs to be 228 as a minimum. This is a great calculator. There's also some many tips and tricks. And what I suggest, if you're going to use this, to go into the basics and advanced concepts to understand everything you can do here. As you can see, there's a lot more drop-down lists that you can use. You can keep in mind, well, what if the enemy has a Molly? What if they have the Manaya Cornor combination? What if they have a Valkyrie? You can actually plug in all these turn meter manipulating champions, all the masteries, all your masteries and passives, and you can figure out the speeds based on what you're dealing with every single time. This is a very robust calculator, and it's going to give you the added edge in the game. But let's not just talk about it. Let me show you it, and here's how. I'm going to go with my team. Now, my main speed team I use is Arbiter. Now, in my case, I also have a Lysandra, and Lysandra is actually my fastest champion. The reason why I do that is because it allows me to use her with Lord Shazar, who's actually got a higher aura in 3v3 and certain times during the classic arena. I like using a single turn meter boost with a faster aura and for bombs, that sort of thing. It just depends on whether the matchup makes sense for me. So this gives me more versatility in my 3v3 and in this. Now, she is a displayed speed of 332, which is a 364.54. And my Arbiter is my second fastest, and she's also going to use her A3. Now, as you can see, her minimum speed is 230.04. That is the slowest she can be, and to still go second, which is a huge amount. The reason why it's such a large disparity is because Lysandra not only turn meter boosts, but she actually reduces turn meter as well. So that gives me a ton more versatility, and it's the third reason why I like using Lysandra prior to Arbiter. It gives me a chance to use an Arbiter at a much slower speed. Or more importantly, it allows me to sub out Arbiter for another champion that might have a turn meter boost, like my own Gorgrab, in the arena, or I can use any other champion with turn meter manipulation in that second spot, and I still have that large buffer that I can do with speeds. But this is what I mainly do, and this is where we are. So let's just talk about this for the time being. Now, my third champion that I use Ghostborn. I do actually have two Madame Ceres, but I don't use them in an auto comp, in a speed comp, because she doesn't use her abilities right. If it's a championship that I know I need to strip buffs on, I will definitely put in Madame Ceres, and I have her at the right speed of at least 184. But in this particular case, we use Ghostborn as A3 because I can just click auto and it'll do it, which are the fastest possible runs. My fourth champion is an Ethos. Now, there's one more thing I want to, and he typically uses A2. Depending on auto, he'll use his A2. So there is the team we're going to show in a minute, but there is one other thing I want to talk about. Lysandra can miss her debuff. She has a turn meter decrease, which can be resisted. And the higher up you go, the more likely the opportunity for it to be resisted. Now, when I'm speed farming with this comp, I typically try to avoid the champions that, the higher power teams, because I know they're going to be high resist. I use a slow comp for those ones. I don't use this, but we can actually calculate for that. And what I will do, and what you can do, is you can just throw Arbiter in here and pretend that you don't get that speed decrease. And then suddenly you notice you need these speeds right here, 211, 212. So what you want to do is make sure that your Ghostborn or your debuffer is at least 212 in this case. And it actually would be 213 and 214 because my slowest champion will be my Ethos, who can be a minimum 214. I'll tell you right now, and we'll see it, Ethos is not quite that fast, but I've been working him towards that slowly and surely. I know that he's going to be good against most teams that I fight, but if I want to be perfect, I can do this. So let's remove the calculator and let's go to my team and we will fight it up. I've already done a couple battles, but we'll pick another one here. We'll go into the arena, get a nice fresh list. And here's actually a lot of good composition. So let's take a look at this one right here. Remember I was talking about my my Shazar Lysandra? Well, she could be faster than mine. We're going to give it a try and see what happens. So 177, I'm not too worried about resist in this particular case. So I think I'm good there, but we'll see whether or not the speeds are an issue. So it so happens that even with the Shazar, not quite as fast as mine. So now we're going to boost. And you notice none of them resisted, which is good. I do see there's 2 immunity gear wearers, so that's going to be a problem. But it's nothing we can do about it now. We're just going to make sure those two die. Now, if there was a Rotos, I'd use Ethos's A2. His A2 hits 3 times. Therefore, it's multi-hit. It hits almost as strong as his A3. But, hey, man, there's no Rotos. We're going to whack it as hard as we can. You can see, even though we didn't get a debuff on Madame Saris, she just wasn't able to put up with that. He, of course, was. But now we have the wonderful secondary skill with Lysandra. Now, because I have her as fast as I do, she gets to go a second time before their slowest champion or their surviving champion gets to go, and then she can easily knock them down and we win the match. Now, what happens if I don't think I'm as fast? Well, there happens to be 2 beautiful examples right in front of us, so let's use them. So in this particular case, we've got a couple issues. Number 1, we've got probably a very fast Siphi, and a Siphi who puts up a ton of buffs, typically is high resist, typically is high defense, hard to kill. We also have a Hegemon. Hegemon's going to lock down my entire team. There's nobody on this team that can avoid it. It's a 50-50, which in my experience means 75%. I don't get the math. Don't try to figure it out. Just go with it. So what instead I'm going to use is what we call a slow comp. So a slow comp doesn't necessarily mean it's slow. What it means is that it's designed to go second. I could build this team at 300 speed, but as long as I have the mechanics in place that I know I'm going second, so I can take the damage here, I can take the debuffs, I can take this turn meter boost, and still get a chance to go. That's the purpose of a slow comp, as opposed to a speed comp, who you're just trying to go first. So keep that in mind when you're building a slow comp. It doesn't have to be slow. You don't have to have it down to 150 speed. You just want to make sure that no matter how fast you get that comp, that it can survive to go second. So that's how this team is built out by the incomparable Farting Cows, who put this together on stream a month and a half ago, I'd say. Has done a great job. As you can see, 2 immunity pieces, they didn't get locked down. These 2 did get locked down. These 2 are distractions. These 2 are the ones that are going to do all the work. So now what happened is Hegemon actually hit Rotos, and this is an important thing to talk about. Rotos has a passive right here. This passive will decrease damage from enemy hits so that incoming damage from any single hit will not exceed 50% of this champion's max HP. Now, that is a very important language. Incoming damage from a single hit. That isn't damage taken. So what that means is I have a max HP of about 31,000 on this champion. That means if I take 16,000 damage, it's going to cap it and I'm going to get an extra turn. Even if I don't actually lose half my health. I have shields from Sir Nick, who's wearing a shield set, which means I actually didn't take a single piece of damage, which you can see right here. I still have most of that shield left, but the incoming damage was 16k, which means I get the extra turn. And that's important when I show you his actual build, and it'll make more sense to you. So now we're going to go after our Siphi, which is the most dangerous one, and then we're going to probably go after Arbiter second. Now, we've kind of taken their feet from under them, and it's just a matter of playing it out. Now, it doesn't mean I've won the match. There's still some danger here, but I think we have a pretty good team. Sir Nick hits really hard. We can use default skills, and we just can run out this team. Great. That's really good, Kaimar. But I don't think at the end that's going to be enough for you. It'd be awesome if he could solo my team, but he can't. And now we've won. So there was a perfect example where we knew we were going to go second, but we were able to build a team out that was able to withstand that initial impact and turn around and win. There is a third comp, and I want to talk about that third comp. I've actually kind of built it here. I don't have a really good third comp built, which is a stall team. A stall team is not the same as a slow team, although a lot of people get it confused. A stall team's purpose is not to win, whereas a slow team's purpose is to win. A stall team does not care about speeds. All that a stall team wants to do is make it very difficult to be killed. The longer it takes to kill a team, the less likely people want to hit you, especially when you get close to reset and people are pushing for that next tier, and especially in the platinum where people are very competitive to try to get that number 1. If you can't kill a team in 10 seconds, you're not going to bother fighting it. So the goal here is to make this team look as unappetizing as possible. A slow comp is a team that you want to win. I would not use this team until Sunday, because when people have time and aren't worried about pushing, they'll absolutely go after this team. So what we're going to do is we're going to put this back. This is a similar slow comp to what I use on offense. The difference is I use Ghostborn because of his AI is a little bit more intuitive. I do, of course, I can't strip buffs, which is an unfortunate piece. But overall, this gives me a chance to be scary. He's got high resist. My team power is nice and high, and it just makes me a little less desirable, a little bit more pain in the ass to deal with. But now you know what a stall team is. If you ever hear that version, a stall team is just a team that's built so tanky that it's not necessarily about winning, it's about not losing or taking a long time to lose. If someone takes 3 minutes to beat your team, they've lost. They cannot come first in platinum. That's the way of the game. So that's what a stall tactic is. This is more of a slow comp team where I'm looking to actually win. I don't know if I actually do. Yeah, you see, I've won 2. I actually had a different team down here. So, oh no, I didn't. No, it was I changed it about here, I think, this morning. So I'm 2 and 3, which I'll take that. I'll take that anytime. We're getting hit once an hour type of thing, so that's not too bad. So that's a win in my books with the team I have. That is it for the video. I hope it was informative for you and helpful. If it was, please feel free to share it, like it. If you have not subscribed yet, please subscribe. Keep in mind, the last video, we are giving away my free-to-play account. So make sure if you are interested in that account that you sign up there, leave a comment in that. All the information is in that video. Also, just started my Discord channel a day and a half ago. So link in the description below. Please join it. If you have any questions, concerns, needs, wants, let me know. I also want to apologize for not having a summoning video for you guys. I actually summoned a couple of Sir Nicks, one for Wasamata and the other one for Raid Nation. Unfortunately, for some reason, it didn't record. I hit the record button, it was going, and then it stopped. It just stopped at some point. So we actually didn't get any of the footage, but a very successful one for Raid. We've been hitting gangbusters on Raid's account. And Wusa, well, we only got 1 out of 194 shards. It was a Sir Nick, which is, I mean, if you're gonna pick one, that's one of the probably one of the ones I'd want to get as a single pull. Also, we got a lot of great epics for him, and he was a newer player, so he didn't get a lot of dupes. He got a lot of dupes in the pulls, but everything he pulled, he didn't have prior to doing any of the pulls. So he's got a ton of amazing epic champions that are going to help him through progression, as well as that Sir Nick. He's going to help him everywhere in the game. So thank you to both of you for allowing me to do that today. Hopefully I'll see you on Twitch again. If not, I will see you in the next video. Make sure to be kind, be safe, practice social distancing, don't eat yellow snow, and I'll see you in the next video.